I'll be back.
So the Terminator, 1984, 40 years ago, the 40th anniversary of James Cameron's science fiction epic. Science fiction thriller, action film. Some might even call it a science fiction horror film, knowing that a cyborg, an android is coming, to destroy us and to destroy our destiny and our savior, John Connor. So for 40 years, people have been loving this film. Of course, then Terminator 2, T2, Judgment Day came out. The other, 4 or 5 or so of varying quality. But the first one, and arguably the second as well, but the first one has really sort of shaped our notions and our perceptions of something now that we're talking about all the time. And of course, that's AI, artificial intelligence. Now, before Terminator, as great as it was not the first to delve into experiment with the idea of evil or destructive, deadly AI. The best movie, the biggest movie before that would probably be Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, where you had HAL. You had the HAL 9000. So from the HAL 9000 in A Space Odyssey to a T-800 model cyborg android Terminator, they both have this deadly, damaging, evil, destructive veneer vibe. And so people who are not readily embracing AI in many ways could be looking at these films. Many psychiatrists and just sociologists and, cultural observers are making that connection, saying that if you're looking at Terminator, if your perceptions of artificial intelligence, of AI today, is filtered and influenced, and how can it not be, by films like The Terminator or Space Odyssey 2001, then there's something really kind of talk about artificial there. Because as fun as these movies, as intellectual even, as certainly stimulating and motivating as they are, they're films. They're science fiction. And as a writer of science fiction myself, I wrote for Star Trek, various Star Trek shows. When you're fleshing out, when you're developing that sci-fi, vibe, that science fiction plot line, you want to make it as realistic, as relatable as possible for the audience, for the moviegoer, the TV watcher. And of course, in Star Trek, for years, we've had really good computers or good AI. We've had the computer aboard the Enterprise. We've had Data in Next Generation. Of course, we've had many bad bots as well, bad robots. And again, Star Trek in many ways was one of the first pop culture or familiar and certainly popular TV shows, media vehicles to look at AI, to look at the maybe damage, the perceived or the maybe realistic damage. One of the greatest is the Ultimate Computer episodes of classic Star Trek, where you have the M5 computer who is sort of replacing Captain Kirk. He's going to be Captain Dunsel now, the obsolete part. And of course, M5 is any good sci-fi disaster, and AI runs amok and takes control of the Enterprise and starts wreaking havoc on the other ships in the simulation. So, though the Terminator is certainly probably the most popular or famous film next to 2001, A Space Odyssey, to deal with destructive, rampaging, run-amok AI, it certainly wasn't the first, but since it's a franchise that keeps on churning out installments of AI that is going to destroy us or enslave us. Of course, props and real acknowledgement to James Cameron for Terminator 2 with T2, because then you have an AI that's good, that's helping John Connor and Sarah Connor. Certainly he's reprogrammed. He's, programmed by the good guys, by the resistance to, to go back and help John Connor. But it's an example to say that AI certainly can be helpful. And as we know, if you've seen the film, he kind of grows beyond his programming. He becomes more sort of self-aware and independent. And I guess we're all hoping that in the future, certainly now we're here even living it, that AI will be helpful. And if they does get more deep independent, they call it AGI, artificial generative intelligence, which will match the intelligence of a human being. AGI should be the equivalent or beyond human intelligence, and we would hope that it will remain helpful and employing our best needs and our best future. So there you go. I don't know about you, but it's one of my favorite movies. The first Terminator and T2, Judgment Day, is they're awesome films. They're really masterpieces. The others they're diverting. Rise of the Machines, T3 was pretty good. They sort of start fading, and I think James Cameron wants to kind of reclaim it, maybe come back and do something if he's doing Avatar. So we'll see. But how do you perceive and look at artificial intelligence? Is it through the Skynet, the evil, the damaging AI, or is it through more of a realistic filter? With science fiction, with films like Terminator, it's hard to get beyond that, right? Hope you're enjoying. Hope you're subscribing. See you soon.